Good morning and welcome to Sacred Awakenings. I'm Reverend Nicole Losi, and it is my pleasure to welcome back Dawn Woodring as she shares a topic today called Lean Into Balance. And I'm also happy to announce that we have John and Lori LeFevre Johnson returning to share music with us this morning. So I hope you have a wonderful Sunday gathering. Thanks for stopping by.
There is one life, and that life is God's life, and that life is my life right now. There is one mind, and that mind is God's mind, and that mind is my mind right now. There is one peace that flows and then surrounds me, that grows and lives within me, that fills and guides me home. There is one love, and that love is God's love, and that love is my love right now. There is one peace that flows and then surrounds me, that grows and lives within me, that fills and guides me home. There is one love, and that love is God's love, and that love is my love right now. That love is my love right now.
And let us take a moment now to just center ourselves and connect with our breath and create the intention for today's gathering. Coming together, we create a collective divine heartbeat. We affirm truth and peace abide here. We gather to remember and recognize the divine mystery within. In our sacred circle, we honor the awakenings of each spirit who enters.
Aramaic Lord's Prayer, from an ancient text in Aramaic translated directly into English. O birther of the cosmos, focus your light within me, make it useful. Create your reign of unity now. Your one desire then sets as ours. As in all light, so in all forms. Grant us what we need each day in bread and insight. Loose the cords of mistakes binding us as we release the strands we hold of others' guilt. Do not allow surface things to delude us, but free us from what holds us back. From you is born all ruling will, the power and the life to do, the song that beautifies all. From age to age it renews. I affirm this with my whole being.
If you've been thinking you're all that you've pass by the old willow tree, where lovers caress as we sing of our song, twisting together when we greet the sea. And it goes on and on, watching the river run further and further from things that we've done, leaving them one by one. And we have just begun, watching the river run, listening and learning and yearning to run, river, run. And it goes on and on, watching the river run further and further from things that we've done, leaving them one by one. And we have just begun, watching the river run, listening and learning and yearning to run, river, run.
Hello, everyone. It is so good to be back here with you all on this Sunday gathering and just being present. We are in the week of equinox, autumn equinox, so it will be here officially on this Wednesday. So welcome to these beautiful energies that are present on the planet of balance and fall and changing of the seasons. It's a little bit about what I'll be sharing today. And before I get farther in speaking, I want to say a great thank you to Nicole for hosting these Sunday gatherings and for wrapping us in her love as she starts off the gatherings, and for Lori and John today for the music that was so uplifting. That song about the secret of life, there really is only one road, and it is love. Beautiful, beautiful lyrics. So, in the spirit of equinox, I was inspired to share this talk about balance and leaning in fully in your life. The equinox is actually a time when Gaia is leaned in fully. The whole center line of her form, the equator, is fully facing the sun. And so it's shining brightly, and we get equal daytime and nighttime from this fully leaned in place. This feeling of balance and leaning in was inspired a couple of weeks ago. I was driving. I had a 2-hour each way trip ahead of me, and I had lots of responsibilities in the life, personally and professionally, and I was just feeling, wow, this is another thing, this big trip, and how am I going to manage all of it and all that's going on? And so as I was driving, I checked in, and I asked my soul and the soul support team, I call it the council, this just the energetic support that's always present. And so I asked for help. How can I manage all of this and really show up for all of it and be present? And the response came so very clearly to lean into us, lean into soul energy, lean into the support that's always present, and this beautiful council of beings. And so I did as I was driving, and I just energetically went in and just felt that presence, that support that's always there, that connectedness, that divine spark. And it just, my energies just relaxed and spread out huge. I felt like I was connected in with all of that support, with all of life, and everything seemed possible again. That feeling of overwhelm or how can I do it all, it just disappeared in the moment. And the moment was driving on this trip that I knew to do and I had said yes to doing. And so in that guidance of just being present in the moment, so much spaciousness opened up, and the trip was beautiful and seamless and perfect. And I saw, country and that I hadn't seen in a long time. And I was present with the changing of the seasons, and the crops in the field are becoming so ripe and beginning to yellow. And there was so much gold that at that time was just starting to sparkle. The gold is much more present now as we're coming closer to fall, but just being present with what was at that time, it made all of the difference. And that overwhelm or that questioning of how can it all be done, it just vanished. And I knew that all would be met and all would be cared for, because that is the way of this world. So that was the inspiration for this talk today. That and the beautiful balance of Gaia and our beautiful sun that gives all life energy, and the moon dancing, that wonderful dance between Gaia and the sun and the moon. And in being with that energy of balance, what really came forward is about, that's how we're all living our fullest potential, leaning in. And it's not about balance and equality, it's about leaning forward and finding that balance in the spaciousness of life. So Gaia, in that beautiful soul that inhabits this body called Earth where we live in, she's fully leaned in. She is fully leaned in and abundant and shares with us so amazingly. There is enough for all needs to be met here if it was balanced out. Or when it is. So I was exploring this, what it is to live to one's fullest potential. What it is to truly lean into life and lean into that flow and the expansiveness and the momentum of creation and the flying forward and fulfilling your dreams. Really fulfilling one's life, leading a fulfilling life is following your soul's dream for you in this life. The soul always has your best interest at heart for this life, and whatever plans he or she has for living it here. That's the dream. That's how to reach it. So, along this journey of awakening, many of you I know have felt this in some ways, sometimes subtle, sometimes really extreme and big, but had this feeling that there are two people living inside of this body, two energies inhabiting your form. And it's really, it really is a common and recognized experience. There is that energy of the divine, that energy of your soul, that spark of life. That soul energy lives in the moment. It lives in the moment, creating whatever it knows to create, connected with all life and all creation, and holding the highest good for the life and all life in all choices, always going forward. Soul is so comfortable in the unknown because that's where pure potential and all possibilities lie. It's in the unknown, it's in the moment. And in this moment, soul creates from love and from compassion, from wisdom and joy. Every experience is embracing the unknown and this current moment. Really being in flow, losing yourself is a feeling that the human recognizes, and being without time. And that other energy that's present in the life comes from the ego personality. And originally, the ego personality, the original design was it would be the support for soul fulfilling its dreams. The ego is here to provide guidance and navigation for the physical aspects of life. But in this world of harm and fear and separation and duality, the ego personality has taken charge and control. And it becomes a guide for all aspects of the life, not just the physical well-being, but the emotional and the mental and the spiritual even. The ego wants to take charge and ensure safety in every moment. So these two energies can feel really at odds at times. But what I've remembered of it is that even that conflict and that control of the ego, it still lives in the soul energy. The soul energy is always your full life force. And the soul never squashes or extinguishes that ego energy because it honors its life. That's just the way the divine is. Divine honors life. And you as soul are divine. That's the nature. So how can we balance in these two energies? How can we find a place that really allows that full expression and leaning into joy and leaning into fulfillment and love and every aspect and every dream that soul desires, and still honoring ego's desire for safety and security? How can we balance that? How can we go back to balance the way this was originally designed to be? How can we help that ego let go of that desire for control? It became so skewed, both individually and collectively, so skewed the balance of these two energies that became the ego was the only one that was remembered. And that presence of soul was forgotten. It just became that out of balance. That, to me, is the spiritual journey of truly finding that balance again, of allowing the soul to lead in all ways and honoring the ego for its original purpose of helping the soul navigate this physical life. So this balance that is sought for in the spiritual journey, it's possible. It is truly possible for anyone whose soul calls for it. It is not only possible, but it is so deeply called for at this time. It's the only way that we can create the new here. It's the only way that we can create a world where people recognize those endless possibilities and live from their love and live from their joy consciously. So how do we both individually and collectively bring back these soul energies of compassion, of connection, of joy and love? As everything, it all starts individually. It all starts with our own choices and our own growing conscious awareness, allowing us to live fully in each moment. This is a choice that requires moment by moment and day by day awareness. Not to make it tedious or huge, but really that's how the soul does it. It's only the ego energies that looks back into the past and analyzes and compares or tries to predict the future. The soul is so comfortable just in the moment, just recognizing and being present for whatever shows up and knowing and trusting. It's even beyond trust, because it's just the way it is for soul. Knows that all is needed. All that is needed is provided for. That's the energy of the universe. People call it the law of attraction, but I know it more of just the physics of how things work. So whenever we are living in that aligned, fulfilled state, we're giving ourselves that beautiful gift, our innate gift. It's what we originally, as humans, were designed to live, flying fully, leaned into all of the energies of the divine. This is the gift that you give yourself. And it's the gift that you give the entire world. You don't have to say anything to anyone. You don't have to do anything in particular to uplift life. If you are living consciously in your joy and in your soul, that's the gift. That's the gift, because it puts those energies out into the whole collective that this is possible. This is possible, to live a soul-fulfilled life. You each are the gift. It is a gift to be present with you all, and it is a gift to be in your presence. So, I have some questions. I have some questions that are suggestions for you to help guide you and open these doors on this soul journey. Some of them can be questions that you ask right in the moment and you're present with, and others are questions that can come back to a deeper state of contemplation when you're quiet with soul, quiet and after meditation and asking questions and just allowing the answers to come forward. So the first one is, am I leaning in the experience that is presenting? And am I doing it with wonder and curiosity? Or am I holding back in some form of resistance? And resistance can look all sorts of ways. It can be doubt. It can be judgment, worry, complaining. So here's an example of how that might look. You may be interacting with someone and something happens, they say something or do something that doesn't go as you expected, and you feel this stress or conflict. So the first thing to do would be recognize that you had an expectation, and realize that the expectation is what's causing that stress inside of you. What exactly is it doing? What are you thinking? What do you notice from this expectation? Take some time, breathe, and just be present. Relax into that natural state of soul that you are. Recognize that you are a divine creator being, and so is this other person. Each of you having the choice to express in whatever way that you know to. And you may ask yourself, what message is my higher self, my soul, my support team, what message are they sending me with this experience? What is it that I can know deeper? And then ask, what's the right action from that place of peace inside, from that soul place? What's the right action for right now? And then make that decision and act on it. The decision may be to continue to engage and to open up a conversation with curiosity. The decision may be in right order for you to walk away. Whatever it is, just trust that that information came to you and you can explore it deeper in contemplation. You can explore that resistance. You can look at the patterns of resistance that you have in contemplation, not from a processing place of your ego mind, really from that meditative soul place where you are quiet and allow your higher levels, your soul, your support team to show you things your ego mind would not have seen. Allow them to come through in whatever ways. Another question along with the resistance. Resisting is kind of pushing back, and the other side of it is holding tight. What is it that you're holding tight to? And can you let it go? What's the right decision and the right message for your actions? These can also be in the moment or in deeper contemplation. So ask yourself in the moment, am I flying forward with leaning into life in all the ways that I can? And if I am, what does this energy want to create? What does this soul want to create in this moment? And then deeper as you're looking, what exactly am I as soul? Who am I? And ask who your energetic support team is. Get to know all of them individually and collectively. It's beautiful what's available to us when we sit quiet and be present with whatever is here. Before we go forward with the practice, I want to share a visual with you to help you remember about leaning in to life and whatever is presenting. So when I was riding motorcycles many years ago, I learned on the mountainous roads of New Mexico, and sometimes when a big mountainous curve comes up, it can be really scary. So I learned it's much more dangerous to hit the brakes and to freeze up or pull back. When those curves come up on the road, you gotta lean right in with the motorcycle. You lean right into the curve, and they're so much fun. It's just it's a beautiful metaphor for life. You lean into life, even if you don't know what's around the corner, and know that you are supported so beautifully. So imagine that, leaning in on your motorcycle of life. So I invite you all to a practice to learn a little bit more, or remember a little bit more, and connect in with the soul of Gaia, who is so masterful at just leaning in and being present no matter what's happening with her form. So find your presence within. Become aware of your body, of how it's sitting and supported. Become aware of your emotions and your mental and your spiritual field. Allow that soul presence of you to come forward. Many people feel that expanding in the heart, but you may also feel it in the third eye or back in your brainstem, wherever it is for you. Allow that soul presence to expand. And we're going to invite in the soul of Gaia. You know her body well, the mountains and the fields and the flowers that grow here and the oceans. But let's invite in the soul of this beautiful earth, Gaia as a being. She knows each one of us present here, and we all can connect in with her. Nurturing her, loving, so full of life and balance and abundance presence. Oh. Imagine in your mind's eye the soul of Gaia stepping forward in front of you, sharing a message for you, just for you, about balance, about leaning into life and finding balance that way. We'll be quiet for a moment. And we'll call you back. Come on back. I thank you all.
The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. There ain't nothing to it. Any fool planet spinning through space, the smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't it a lovely ride? See me sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Isn't it a lovely ride? Just sliding down, gliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time.
In considering our message, our music, our meditation, as well as all the educational opportunities that Sacred Awakenings is developing for the community, we ask that you consider a love offering as an energy exchange at our website, sacredawakenings.org. Any donation over $1 is eligible for our membership, which includes private access to various groups, workshops, and classes focused on furthering our spiritual exploration as a community. Please join me in this blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine love, through us, blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. May your generosity you share with Sacred Awakenings continue to bless you with divine abundance and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dawn, for sharing your message about balance and the importance of leaning into it and creating space for balance. And thank you, John and Lori, for sharing your beautiful gift of music, taking us deeper into our connection with ourselves and others that way. And thank you to each of you for joining us this morning. If you'd like, feel free to check out the podcast or rewatch at any point on Facebook or YouTube or in our member network. And also, if you'd like to stick around for a little, brief communal time together after the gathering, that would be wonderful. Stick around after our closing prayer, and we'll come back momentarily for that deeper dive into the subject of today's gathering.
Now for the closing blessing. I invite you all to hold in your heart and your intentions everyone and anyone, including yourself, who you would like to join in this energy. This is a writing from Lao Tzu called Returning to the Source. Empty your mind of all thoughts. Let your heart be at peace. Watch the turmoil of beings, but contemplate their return. Each separate being in the universe returns to the common source. Returning to the source is serenity. If you don't realize the source, you stumble in confusion and sorrow. When you realize where you come from, you naturally become tolerant, disinterested, amused, kind-hearted as a grandmother, dignified as a king, immersed in the wonder of the Tao. You can deal with whatever life brings you. And when death comes, you are ready.
This joy I have, the world love I had, the world didn't give it to me. This love I had, the world didn't give it to me. This love I had, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. This peace that I had, the world didn't give it to me. This peace that I had, the world didn't give it to me. This peace that I had, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. Yes, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it
Thank you again for joining us this morning here at Sacred Awakenings. You are what make us us. So thanks for coming by. And if you'd like, get up, move around, take a little break, and check out our little chat after. You're not obligated to communicate about anything. You can sit back and just stay in the vibration of the Sunday talk and the music and the intentions and meditations. If I don't see you here again, just a few moments for that. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Many, many blessings upon you and many sacred awakenings for you.